Hey there, I'm Molly Free, and this is the High Notes. Today, I'm going to be talking about being a Nashville stylist and getting BRELAND ready for the CMA Awards. My path to becoming a stylist, I was working in LA as a PA, and one day the wardrobe woman threw her back out. There really weren't a ton of stylists around. It wasn't a common job. I really learned under the person that I was working with at the station. She went on to become a pretty big celebrity stylist. So I always kept up with her and kind of mirrored her a little bit. And I worked in retail as well, and I think that that's a really great education for brands. There's no linear path to doing it. Everyone that I know that does it has had a different path, but I think that's what makes it really interesting. If you don't feel comfortable, it's not gonna look good no matter what it is or what you're wearing. You don't have to follow trends. Like if it doesn't suit your body or suit your lifestyle, always stick to the basics and you always will win. There's been times where maybe the artist completely changed their mind on what they wanted things to look like or how they wanted to feel, how they wanted to be dressed. And I always just try to get them in the clothes because it immediately will change how they're feeling about things. If you feel good about everything, about the evening, your client's gonna feel good. I mean, there's been tons of times where the client's in a bad mood or maybe something got changed and it threw their whole day off. I've had that happen a lot, and you kind of have to be there to hype them up and be like, we're doing the carpet, we're gonna look amazing. After this, we're gonna have champagne, or I will remind them, like, you've been waiting for this, you've been dreaming for this, like this is exciting. So I think that you have to have that attitude. The research process is probably my favorite part, especially if the artist really wants to look a certain way or they want a specific piece. It's kind of like a treasure hunt. I always want to listen to their music and get a feel for the storytelling. It helps me get to know them and get to know what the project is going to be about. Then I kind of go through their closet, see what they've had. I like to look for brands that maybe no one's wearing here or no one in country is wearing. With BRELAND, he loves sports and he loves athletes. So I tried to kind of mirror that look into what we were doing together. BRELAND and I met through his creative director, Nada Taha. Nada was like, one day we're gonna work on something amazing together and it's gonna be worth it. And she thought BRELAND and I would be a good match, and we went and had dinner, and I've been with him ever since. I'm working on a project now where BRELAND's gonna be overseas, and I want him to wear all UK-based brands. Reaching out, finding those brands, making sure they'd be a brand that he would like. Getting BRELAND ready for the CMA Awards, I get my kit together, needle and thread, tape, things that BRELAND likes to have, like his favorite chapstick, little things like that. Lens cleaner for his glasses, so I make sure that that's ready. Steam everything, especially if he has multiple outfits. I like it to just be he and I sometimes, because I think you get a lot of people in the room when you're about to do a big appearance, and it can get overwhelming. Usually I'll meet him at his house and we'll put some music on. I try to give him enough time to where he doesn't feel rushed, because that's literally the worst feeling in the world, is like being rushed before you're gonna walk out onto a carpet. And then we'll kind of go through jewelry. We always do jewelry the day of. I always have a lot of earring options for him because that's his staple. And I try to make sure we're relaxed. Maybe we'll have some champagne and put him in the car and off he goes. Usually BRELAND wants to get out of his suit immediately and into something more comfortable. I'll put him in an outfit that he's gonna be sitting in, so make sure that maybe the top is really interesting and cool. He'll come back from sitting and prepare for a performance. In the case of the CMA Awards, he was doing a special collaboration with Chevy. So he's performing at a Chevy party at like 11 o'clock at night. So then you got that outfit. And then I'm literally walking around with bags and bags of stuff down Broadway. And then I'm like, he looks great. He can go to any other parties he wants to go to. And then I go home. My high note would be when BRELAND comes off the carpet and he's like, oh my gosh, we looked amazing, killed it. I was the only one that had like sneakers on. Everyone loved it. That's when you're like, he feels like $1 million. Especially for someone young and new in the industry, these award shows are really overwhelming. And if he can feel like $1 million walking amongst all of kind of, people he looks up to in the industry, that's the high note for sure. That's the high notes. Shout out to the CMA for having me, and make sure you like and subscribe for more. I feel like it's like those shows where you're like learning grammar and it has the little like ball.
It's the Schoolhouse Rock.
Yes, that's what I'm seeing in my head.
The Barney bounce ball.